Okay. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Reve,
I'm Denise.
and we are helping you do
Doula
that.
that. Here we are. Here we are now. We got a lot
Welcome. Now,
going
listen,
on.
everybody, give us
Ooh-wee.
grace. We are the day after the day after
Mm,
the election.
mm,
And
mm,
while this episode is not about to be about the election, you probably gonna hear some energy.
mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay. This episode is specifically about a recent meeting we attended. We had a chance to attend a meeting of an organization that we formerly were leaders of, because we maintain membership, and we yeah, there were some things, there were some interesting observations. So this is a feedback, but really, the reason why we're even having this conversation about this organization because Denise Bowles has her own organization, Black Women Do VBAC.
I sure
I have
do.
my own organization, National Birth and Postpartum Professionals. So trust, we're not hating, but I think that we're doing a public service by helping some folk who really may not see what we know and see because we were on the inside. So I thought
Mhm.
it would be helpful for those folks who belong to the organization named as DONA International to be able to see what we see as folks who have come out and we're just shaking our heads. And we hope that if you continue to become to be members of this organization, that maybe you'll use some of this information to create accountability, because they tout themselves as a nonprofit, which means the organization belongs to the public. And when an organization belongs to the public, you have a responsibility to make information public. And there's a few inconsistencies that kind of check the box, but don't pass the smell test. And as long as I'm a member of the organization, and as long as you're a member of the organization, I think that there are some things that you should be watching out for to make sure that it really is an organization that belongs to the public. Okay,
Absolutely.
so I don't have my list in front of me, but you got a you got a few tips. Should I start
Um,
with my very first observation?
Well, it was a member meeting and they did do all of this for us. And every year after the conference, DONA has their member meeting where members who, you don't have to attend the conferences or anything, but you can come in and get the information on the current standing of the organization from the leadership within the organization. And this is supposed to be a very full, transparent information sharing, but I don't always see it that way. I really and truly don't. Reve and I have always been the ones talking about where's the meeting minutes. That is not posted on a regular basis. It has not been posted in several years. Meeting minutes with agendas attached, and the budget. The budget should be available for public record, for members to be able to review and to be able to ask questions if they would like to, and that has not happened. So they had this member meeting. It was facilitated by the board of directors and the leadership of the organization. And I was able to keep some. I was able to keep some slides from this because I just wanted to see exactly what was going on, as far as what was being said, what was being happening here. So, as Reve said, they say that they're a non-for-profit, but they are making money. I mean, the organization is making money. I've always been very, very curious on the amount of members that they have, and what's happening with the membership. So I do have a screen share on that. As far
You
as
want me to turn on
certification.
this sharing?
Yeah, that'd be great because I have it here for everybody to see. So you could see that. Yeah, so this is it here. Let me just make that
It's big.
bigger.
No, it's
It's
good.
it's good. Okay.
hmm
Okay. Um, okay, so yeah, I don't know what Zoom is trying to do here. But yeah, this is our certification report. Um, and they're saying, oh, we still have a full quarter of the year to go, and it's not, the same. But the certification, how many people are certifying? We have a lot of people in this organization that takes the training, but it's one thing to take the training, but it's another to go through the entire certification process. and actually come out as a certified birth or postpartum doula. So as you can see here for 2024, they only had 405 certification packets completed for birth, and then postpartum is 318. So that's where we are. Back in 2017, it was much more than that. Even through the pandemic, things were still, not too good. And you would think coming out of the pandemic, there would have been a huge pivot. But the membership, the actual certification rather, is not really showing that. So I just think that that's very, very interesting of how that is happening. Here, I just want to show you this slide here where we're talking about how many certified in membership, the actual membership of
Yeah,
certified
that's the
postpartum.
one. Yeah, the pie chart, that's the one.
Yeah, the pie chart right here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we have over 2,000 birth doulas that are certified, and we have just a little over 500 postpartum doulas.
So can you share that one? Because we still see the certification report. We see
Oh,
the.
sorry about that. Thanks. Yeah, I always get this. Zoom gets me every
I
time.
know, I know. I need a
Okay, here we
Zoom.
go. Can you see that now?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly it.
Yeah, so this is the actual certified postpartum doulas is just over 500, and then it's just over 2,000 birth doulas who are certified in
And
the
let's say
organization.
let's give this number. This is sort of so as an insider, we've been dueling for a long time. Why is this important? Organizations like ICEA, Kappa, DONA, they've been around for a while, but they like to share the number on their website of an estimation of how many doulas have come through their doula training workshops, right? So 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. I mean, but if you've been out here doing this for 20 or 30 years, I expect you to have those kinds of numbers. What's interesting is that's the number they like to share, but demographics have always been hidden and done, mostly because they don't share them. They don't even collect them. And so membership, their actual membership, this is the actual membership because you can pay your $100, but if you are not certified, you can't even show up on their directory on their website.
No.
So their actual membership is this. And so what's important is when I came into the organization, we were losing members at a dramatic rate back in 2007. No,
Mm.
no, 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 no. It hasn't been that long. Back in 2014, 2015, when I came onto the board, we were a membership of 6 or 7,000, and we're losing dramatically in places like Canada because they weren't meeting the needs, because there was a backlog. There were lots of issues with the organization, and people weren't getting their needs met. When I left, the membership certified members sitting in the membership portal was around 5,000. I've been gone 2 years.
We've been gone 2 years.
We've been gone 2 years. What I'm looking at is at best 2,600, 27, a little 2,700. I'll give them to the 27. Maybe their numbers are off. I know I can't do math anymore, but 2,700. That's a little over half, just slightly over half of what they had 2 years ago. This tells a story.
It does.
DONA ain't the big box anymore.
No,
Right?
no.
This tells a story. This tells a story. This slide right alone tells a story. So this is what we learned in the membership meeting. And this actually was one of the slides I slid by really kind of fast. Kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, they flew through certain slides on this member meeting. And what we have to understand is the membership is indicative of the sign of the times, as Prince would say. What's happening to keep members engaged, to keep the membership roster up. I don't see a membership drive from this organization annually. Don't see anything like that.
Now, don't give them no tips, no ideas. Hold on. Don't give them no
No, we're not
solutions,
doing
child.
that.
That's not what we're here for.
No, we don't do
We're not
that.
in that position anymore. Okay,
No,
remember
we're
that.
not. But what I do see is I do see a lot of phishing on social media. I used to be DONA. Or did you let go of your DONA certification or your membership, and why? I see those queries come up monthly. Monthly, someone is throwing something up in social media asking if you were a DONA member and you're no longer a member, why?
Well,
Did you
I
let
only
your
saw that
certification
once.
lapse?
I've only seen that actual question happen once in Doula Talk recently,
Mm,
and it had over 300 comments. I don't see Dona actually working to find out why people are not staying with them. I don't think
that's
the leadership is actually asking enough questions. So
mm-hmm.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think I see people saying, I'm thinking I'm going to do Dona. Tell me why you did. Or because they're brand new people who are trying to figure out, should I do this? Is this a
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the post that I'm seeing. I'm not seeing
Oh,
anything from
okay.
Dona. I'm seeing it from the doula
Yeah.
community, trying to figure out what's up.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure out if this is the right space for them. Do you have do you have the slide where they talk about income? Because I always think it's interesting. People don't realize that Dona was when they were $1 million company annual.
This one?
And, that is revenue and expenses. So this is new. Okay, yeah. So this is their income. So they're a little under 800,000, right? A little under 750,000 last year, and they're underneath that this year. So this matches what we're saying. They're losing ground with doulas because they make their money from membership dues.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
all the money that people pay for these DONA trainer workshops, that money does not go to DONA. And up until just 2 or 3 years ago, none of that money went to DONA. DONA wasn't collecting any money. Those trainers were for profit, private small businesses. All those dollars were belonged to the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, and that was something that happened right about the time we left, the trainers were having to pay per head into the larger organization to make
Mm-hmm.
money. So that meant now Dona's money comes from the membership dues, $100, and it also comes from the trainers having to pay per head for how many people are in their workshops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but even with that, their revenue is still lower this year than it was last year, and it's about $300,000 or $400,000 less than it was 2 years ago when Denise and I were sitting on that board.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They're losing ground.
They're
They're
losing
losing
ground.
ground.
They're losing ground. And
They're
this
not
is
they're not the boss that they were.
no, this is the 2024 financials year to date membership, just to show you how where the money
Oh,
is.
way low.
So this is definitely going into what that is. Contributions. You would think contributions would be a lot higher, but it is not. It is
Well,
not.
contributions are not high because who's going to give to an organization where you can't get a tax break? See,
Right.
DONA is a 501c6.
Fix.
They are not a 501(b).
See, right.
Okay, so you can contribute, but then you don't get a write-off. People don't like that. And they mentioned in the member meeting that they were hoping to finally create a foundation or something. They've been talking that yin yang for 6, 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't remix. You are who you are. You can't have both, which is why my solution when I was in the presidency was to create a separate foundation with,
Right.
with its own board where money can be donated. There's so much good that all of these members could be doing to benefit the community.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't done it.
No, hasn't happened.
No.
It just hasn't happened. So it's like, yeah.
Scholarships, helping birth centers. I mean, literally partnering with organizations, but nevertheless, we'll
Yeah.
just be doing that through National Birth and Postpartum Professionals. So.
Yeah, so these are just like I said, the financials that are going on here. Membership dues, that $100 every year, that's what you're paying into just to, have that certification to get me into a hospital. That's the only reason why I'm there, to be honest. So
And
I'm
that's
not.
why lots of people are there. That recent post in Doula Talk, people are like, I'm only staying for the letters.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
They do nothing for me. All they do is they email me and ask me for money. I give it. I don't hear from them for another year or two.
yeah, yeah. So let me see about the other one. I just want to see about the
While
other.
you're doing that, I noticed the difference in the tone of the meeting. Like in the
Oh yeah,
past, it would be very big, bright, gregarious, almost entertaining. This was very monotone,
yeah,
and a couple of personalities were notably missing.
yes, yes,
And, specifically the big wooer who backstabbed us, right? And became the president who apparently is out here telling people that members voted for her, although nobody remembers voting for her because nobody voted for her. She was never on a ballot. Those
Never.
are receipts. We can pull up receipts. She was never on a ballot. She was never voted for, but runs around talking about hashtag trained by Nakia, hashtag trained by Nakia. Well, you're lying. You were never voted in or elected by the members. They appointed you after you conspired with them to get rid of me and Denise because we had an agenda to take care of everyone.
Right. We sure did. We most certainly did. And,
Well, but she was notably missing from that member meeting.
yes.
And they need her, quite honestly, because it was so boring. It was like, come on. Oh.
No, but things come around, things happen, and it's okay. Let's see where that person lands. I don't know,
Oh,
but
not talking about her. Talking about how they needed that personality, they needed that energy.
oh
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
who is taking the time to come to a meeting where they're not really learning anything? And here's always been my issue with the member meeting content. The slides come up fast. The data, while it's factual, because they got to tell the facts, it's not actually really explained or revealed. If you really wanted to have a member meeting and you wanted it transparent, you would actually give me this data, these slides electronically, and you would give it to me in advance so that we can have an engaged meeting.
Yeah.
A member should be able to come and say, I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
And the member should be running the meeting. It should be about the members. Other members should be able to hear from other members about their questions, their concerns, what they see, what they don't see, what they're worried about, what's working, what isn't working. This was just a little rehearsed script of here's what I've done, which, what do you always say about these meetings? What is it?
They're reading their job descriptions.
Right.
Yeah.
So for example, this international whatever director, Carolyn Tranter. So we got her talking about, oh, I want to have more meetings. We want to expand the membership and we want to do translation. Well, how long have we been talking about doing translation? Boo, I could translate on Google in 2 seconds. Like, how long does it take? If
How
you really wanted
long?
to do that, then you wouldn't
They,
dismiss the two of people on the screen who 1 week before they dismissed us unceremoniously with no explanation to date. If you really wanted to be more accessible in languages, you would have followed up because the current certification director, Terry Nava Anderson, popped in a meeting spying on us while we were meeting with Spanish speaking members with
mm-hmm.
the goal of translating and integrating our Spanish speaking doulas more into the fabric of that organization because we saw that they were not being served, they were disenfranchised, and we had made a priority. Remember, we did the priority in the budget to translate everything out of English into Spanish.
We sure did. We sure did. And don't forget, we've had 2 Spanish-speaking presidents in DONA's history, and they never put things in translation from English to Spanish either.
And several sitting on the board, including the previous certification director, Deanna, who's down in Florida.
I don't understand how we can't get Spanish. And we're also working on Haitian Creole, but first and foremost, you still all these years you still can't get Spanish. You still don't.
They have an ambassador in Iowa who asked for a French translation. It took months. When I say months, like 10 months to get a response. Oh yeah, let me ask the board. They said if you pay for the translation, we need to have it. You need to give it to us. So I said to her, wait, they want you to pay for translation of their documents and then they want access to your translation. They want you to pay for it privately. But this is $1 million organization.
It is $1 million organization, and they're not addressing the very basic needs of the community. And that is to have things translated in multiple languages. And it's not hard to do.
Well, and besides that, my biggest takeaway from the member meeting was no real transparency. There's a couple of things that don't sit well with me. They just had an election. Where was the information about the candidates? There was usually there's a bio, there's a video, you have a circle or meeting where you can ask the candidates questions, whether it's online or a live Zoom meeting. There was nothing. It was like, these are your candidates. We
Nothing.
didn't even get a chance to learn about them. The second issue with the election was they just told us who it was. There was only one candidate for president. But remember, when you ran, they delayed the presidency because you were the only eligible applicant. And you were
Yep.
told by Melissa Harley that you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't be the only candidate for president on the ballot. Well, what
Mm-hmm.
changed in the last couple of years? Now
Uh,
they're appointing presidents with no members voting. And now they can put up one candidate for president when you were the one when you applied, they couldn't.
oh God, they kept me on hold for months because they could not get another
4
candidate to run
months.
against me.
4 months.
Months. Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, we get
And
this
you've got these
email.
candidates. These are the candidates that we have now that have been elected. And it's like,
Where's the
okay,
competition?
where's the competition? Erica ran by herself. I wasn't allowed to run by myself, but Erica was. And it's really and truly amazing. Tony
So where's
Curtis.
the so we were just what the members were expected just rubber stamp? Again,
No,
no engagement. You have an
no
election process.
engagement.
We're the 2 days post election. You have a whole election process and there's no engagement.
No engagement. I
No
still don't know.
engagement. You just
I don't
telling
know
us
anything
who it's
about
going to
Erica.
be.
I don't know anything about what I do know here about Erica. Erica does not have anything on here on her bio that indicates to me that she has any leadership skills.
She became a doula in 2021 in the middle of the pandemic, which we know the whole world is different from if you were pre-pandemic doula. We all know that the doing this work is different.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, where's the prior board experience? Where's
Where's the
the
prior
corporate
board
America experience?
experience?
Where's the I created an organization and led it experience? Because she's running a nearly now $1 million organization
Mm-hmm.
with no experience and no
No
options, no
experience.
competition.
No competition. No competition, no experience. And she's checking the box. She's a woman of color. Oh, you can't say Dona is racist because we've got another black woman coming in. You can't say Dona's racist. We let go of Denise and Reve. You can't say we're racist. We put mouth in here. It's like, yeah, that you can't use that. Can't use that.
Yeah, well, now they don't even fool with mouth.
No, no,
Nikia.
no, no. Yes.
It's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. But again, a lot of this is about being able to help newer doulas who are like, what's going on here? Yeah, you have a member
Mhm.
meeting where members don't even talk. We weren't even allowed to be on screen on the Zoom.
No,
It was
no.
only the speakers. You
Only
have
this.
a member meeting where your only engagement opportunity is in the chat and everybody's like hyping one another up. And that's not engagement. You have an election process where you don't actually have any involvement. And then the thing that really gets me before we run out of time is I made a request of a DONA ambassador to question them about meeting minutes. Meeting minutes are missing for 3 full years on DONA Connect.
Mhm.
They're supposed to be posted up within a reasonable amount of time on for members to know what was voted on, what decisions did the board make with your money, and what does the future hold for DONA. 3 years
Mhm.
of meeting minutes missing from that meeting, from DONA Connect. When she inquired, they said, we'll get back to you. They got back to her. She got back to me. She said she read the meeting minutes and they say nothing. It's unclear about what was the actual call, what was the motion,
Exactly.
what was the question, and what was the content, what was the discussion. She specifically went back and said, well, what's the agenda? I want to at least match the agenda with the meeting minutes so I know what direction you were going in. She was told by the director of communications, Joyce Dykma, that that's confidential, that the agenda that they go into the meeting with is confidential. You mean I, as a member, cannot know what you guys went into the meeting to talk about? I can only see these very vague decisions in the meeting minutes. And by the way, I haven't seen a decision in the meeting minutes for 3 years.
No, and the bylaws have changed also in this organization that members have not been made aware of, nor were we allowed to vote
Well,
on.
they wouldn't know that the bylaws changed unless they saw the meeting minutes, which ain't nobody seen one for 3 years.
So there's that.
But you and I know that the bylaws have changed because of how they're bringing in. First of all, this election process with not dual candidates. That's a change. So,
Oh yeah.
but you also how they're removing and bringing in people. So they brought in Nakia Lawson with no member vote. They brought in
Not
Hillary
one.
Melkers
With
with
not one.
no member vote.
Not one. Not
So
one.
two presidents, after they removed you and I, on the first day of Black Maternal Health Week,
Yes.
new presidents come in with no member voting.
Nope.
No, and this is the lack of transparency. So we offering this, we're not mad.
No,
Done.
no.
Boo boo. Look how good we look. I
You,
mean,
you did me
good,
a favor. You
healthy,
did me a huge favor. Thank you.
thriving,
Thank you.
thriving,
Thank you. Thank you.
thriving,
Really. Thank you.
thriving.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're not mad. But when you know something, it is really hard to stand on the sidelines. Like I can only imagine what Michelle and Barack are like, what they know, how hard it is to like see things going like injustices and people lying and not being transparent. And it's hard to hold it. So guess
It
what? We
sure
got
is.
a podcast, we ain't got to hold it. So we're here to help folks who are a part of this organization really see, yeah, you gonna all those financial slides, boop, 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 they slide through them really fast. But the key is it's losing ground. Those certified members down, revenue down, and promises. These are things that you should have been doing. Translation, y'all been saying that for 10 years. You talking about translating into something like Spanish. There was something else that they were talking about they were doing. Like to me, your certification process, okay, you made it faster, easier. Well, it lacks integrity. With no parent
Right.
signature, no medical person signature anymore,
Mm-hmm.
people, and I heard through the grapevine, people are making up their 3 births
People are falsifying their certification documents to get
because they're trying to get certified because now Carrot requires it. They want to get reimbursed. They're trying to become a certified doula by any means necessary. And the lack of accountability in their rush and donors rush to make it easier, they've also created less integrity. So we got doulas out here are certified who are totally lying about their process. And it's not that this organization isn't aware that that's happening. But when you are driven by revenue because you have to pay a management company, you're going to turn the other cheek. You're going to look
I
the
agree.
other way.
I
And
agree.
that's a problem for all of us to have doulas in our pool who are not qualified. They could drop babies, hurt babies. They can do all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it impacts us as a fundamental level in terms of the profession.
I totally agree. Totally
So
agree.
anyway, that's all we
Anyway,
got about that, y'all. So we
there's
hope
a
that
tea on
this
that.
will help give you some insight. If you're a member of this organization, or if you're thinking about joining this organization, you might want to think twice. Or if you do choose, I'm not telling you not to choose. I'm a member. Denise is a member. We have our reasons, but know what to look for. Ask
Yes.
more questions. Push back because it matters. It matters for the greater good. And be responsible. Be a responsible member. Hold their feet to the fire because we see what
Hold their
happens
feet to
when
the
you don't.
fire. I want to
You
see
see what happens when you don't.
I want to see every organization on their website every year to have the number of doulas certified, number of membership. I want to see a link to their annual report that you can look at with their budget. All of that is full transparency, and many major organizations have this. It is time for doula organizations to be transparent, very
Okay.
much. And yeah, so I want doula organizations to be transparent on their websites. They need to have this information so that if somebody is coming to their website, you need to know how many members you have, how many members are certified, how many people trained a year, and they need a separate site where you can see exactly what their actual budget and what does it look like, how much are they pulling in annually. That should be for public consumption.
Right. And I think for public consumption for nonprofit orgs,
Right.
because we can't ask. So because they belong to the public, they're getting a benefit from the public. The public is subsidizing those organizations. It makes total sense for transparency. In fact, the IRS, the government expects transparency.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know what your nonprofit doula training organizations, how much money they're making, what they're doing with the money, you can go to a website. I don't have it, but I can link it in the show notes. Or you can look up their 990. Their 990 statement will tell you some of the financial information. It won't tell you the organization's budget. It won't tell you what rules they've made or what policies they've changed, but it will give you the bottom line. You'll see the numbers. And so if you want to verify what we're saying about this particular organization, DONA International, you can go look at their 990s.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lie to the IRS.
Ray and I are putting together something real cool for everybody. We're working on that.
Well, yeah, we have a resource that'll give a lot more transparency because there's so many options in terms of doula or birth worker trainings that consumers really do need and deserve more information. And so we're gonna put together a little something and launch it in the coming weeks for you all. is a reliable resource so you can get the information you need right up front. We can't preach
Absolutely.
transparency and not be transparent
There
ourselves.
you go. There you
There you
go.
go. All right.
There you
Okay,
go.
everybody. Well, that's our episode for today. Thank you for joining us. We are happy to help you
Do
do that.
that.
All right,
Yes.
everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye.